Hi, and welcome to DBS This Morning. My name is Candy. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're wondering where I am, I'm in the back of a car. But it's a hint as to what's coming up today in our interviews. But for now, let's go to the news desk and see what's going on.
Good morning. Another life has been cut short by seemingly unbridled gun violence, and another family has been left to pick up the pieces as a very real reminder of the pervasive consequences of gun violence and the need to broaden the debate to encompass the physical and emotional toll of the violence on families and entire communities.
This morning I see him. This morning he's telling me going to work, and that's it. And that's it. And I was in the room and I heard a gunshot. When I come in the balcony, I see that person lie down on the floor, I run and see who is that. And I run back. And then somebody says Prince. And they kill Prince there just so I don't know. I don't know the cause of the killing. So much thing happening. I don't know the cause of the killing. I don't know.
Relatives claim that Joseph received as many as 7 shots to his body. They are hard-pressed to come up with a motive for that level of brutality. Meanwhile, the United Workers' Party continues to criticize Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre for what the opposition party is seeing as his inability to devise effective solutions to the country's gun violence. The UWP has resubmitted a list of anti-crime proposals to the National Security Minister, urging him to reconsider the recommendations in light of the climbing murder rate.
Finally, the Minister of National Security himself, the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, has come out and finally admitted that he is clueless. He has literally thrown his hands in the air in hopeless surrender and is now calling for help, and he has indicated that he is at the mercy of the citizens of St. Lucia, which of course includes the criminals.
UWP PRO Leonard Montoute lamented that the well-intentioned suggestions were met with dismissal by the Prime Minister, as since that time over 60 more St. Lucians have fallen victim to violent crime. Now, Jessica Antoine, a resident of Odlum City in Bois Patat, who recently lost her home in a fire, is calling on the powers that be to improve road access to her community. Responders had difficulty accessing the scene due to the unplanned development and layout of the structures.
The fire department came. They basically just had to watch the entire house burn down because the road was not accessible enough for them to come to the property to try to extinguish it. When they asked for a hole for them to try to put water to the house, there was no water in the pipe. They were not able to see the footpath for them to get to the house because the electrical pole, there was no lighting in there. Even the hose wasn't long enough to get to my location. So that could have at least saved something.
Residents of the community have reportedly made numerous appeals to their parliamentary representative, Stephenson King, to improve the road conditions, but so far to no avail. The Rotary Club of Grosley and Diamonds International have teamed up to donate a large number of backpacks to needy students ahead of the start of the 2023-2024 academic year.
September is recognized as Basic Education and Literacy Month by Rotary International. So this is actually a really fitting time for us to be able to make this presentation to the Honorable Minister of Education. We will also proceed to do distributions to the schools in areas that have most need. So we'll continue to work with the Ministry of Education in ensuring that the persons who are most desirous of these backpacks will receive them.
Schools across the island resume classes on Monday, September 4th. Several would have held orientation exercises this week. These are your top stories. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
And welcome back. Coming up, we're going to speak with the people at a new tea lounge called Serenity Tea Lounge and Hospitality Lounge. So you want to stay tuned for that. And we're also going to talk to Dwayne Augustin from M Motors about the things we can do to keep our cars working at their optimum. Stay tuned. So if drinking tea and eating scones with jam and clotted cream is your thing, there is a wonderful new place in Rodney Bay / Rodney Heights, out in nature, where you can go to do just that and relax and get free Wi-Fi and work from there. So I spoke with the owners recently about this new venture. Let's hear what they had to say. Welcome back to DBS This Morning. I'm Candy. Thank you so much for joining us. So I may look a little calm right now, and it's with good reason. I'm here at Serenity on the Green, which is a new tea room and hospitality lounge in the heart of Rodney Bay. Or do we call this Rodney Heights? What do we call this? It's Rodney Heights. It's next to Key Largo. Okay, I'm from Sifra. I don't know. But I'm here with Jules and Vernell, who is the manager at this new establishment, which I think is a great and new and unique concept to introduce to St. Lucia. Not to mention that I think we need more spaces like this where you can come, relax, work in a serene environment. What was the thinking behind creating this or bringing this concept to St. Lucia?
So originally I did an actual wedding here, a civil ceremony here. And from that, I kind of got the idea of doing a tea room that was open to senior citizens. So on Wednesdays I have a senior citizen day. My mother's 90 years old and she's a very active 90-year-old. So I thought we could do games days one day, senior citizens day, lunches, that afternoon tea. So that's how it all kind of came about, and it's open now.
Yeah.
We're here, ready to go.
Yeah, so afternoon tea is a very British thing. How do you plan on giving a St. Lucian twist to it? I've looked at your menu. I see that you have some locally made teas on there. But apart from that, how are you going to merge the two cultures to create an experience?
Well, we've got the local teas that we use is Enchanted Kettle. So I was very encouraged by the offerings that they had. So that's what we use as far as the Caribbean style goes. The rest of it is Twinings tea and typical British tea. So that's where we're at right now.
And on the menu, let me ask you, Vernell. So the menu, you have some traditional high tea offerings like scones with jam and cream and all sorts of things. So can you speak to the menu a little bit and what people can expect?
It's a typical British menu. However, we do cater for our locals. They're more familiar with paninis and bagels and so on. So if you'd like to not partake in the entire British style of tea party, you could also grab and go with your panini and bagels. Yes.
And this is such a wonderful space in the heart of everything. It's like an oasis of calm in the middle of Rodney Bay / Rodney Heights. If someone wants to host an event here, a birthday or any other event, how do you go about doing that?
Okay, so they could call us. We do have a Instagram and Facebook. You can DM us as well. You could come interview and we could sit and chat about what you would like to have done, and if we have different packages as well, so we could offer you packages, or if you'd like something very much customized, we could do so as well for you.
Wonderful. And your opening hours, what do they look like? Is this somewhere you can come to in the middle of the workday when you need to get away from your work environment? You're next to a couple of schools. Is it somewhere that children can come after school? What are your plans to this place? Because I'm sure that you have a lot of them, because it's hard to not be inspired by by this space.
Okay, so our opening hours right now is from 12 to 6. However, starting from October, we will be extending our time till 9 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. We try to accommodate mostly the after work, so it's like an after work line as well as after school. So the kids and the moms could come, sit, chat, and whilst the children are playing around and so on. Yeah.
And Jules, how do you see this place evolving over time? Because I know you have a plan now. There's a menu, there are things you can do here, but I'm sure you have a long-term vision for what you want to see this place become. I'm feeling like this will be a nice meeting ground for, as you said, people of all ages. It will be a place where people want to come to when they want to calm down, and it's we spoke about yoga before we started speaking on camera. This is perfect for that. So what's your long-term vision for this space?
This will be the number one spot for wine tastings, press launches. People can come here and work. Free Wi-Fi, they can work in peace. Ordinarily, there's not the weed whackers making the noise in the background, but usually it's very calm, which is why it's called Serenity on the Green. I am going to introduce yoga on Mondays. And so generally, everyone that's come so far has said it's such a calm and serene and peaceful place. That's what I want it to be known as. And it's the venue where you can have kiddies parties, you can have, like I said, press launches and that kind of stuff. So long term, I want it to be that number one venue where you can come, relax and chill out in the day, work from here if you need to, and then in the evenings you can sip and drink and have some wine.
Well, thank you so much for having us here, and thank you for joining us here as well. Hoping to see you here, because I definitely will be frequenting this place. So if you come, you just may see me. Come say hi. Welcome back. Now, if you are just as ignorant, and I mean that in the true sense of the word, if you lack knowledge about how to take care of your vehicle to ensure that it works at its best, this is a conversation you want to stay tuned for. So let's go to a little chat I had with Dwayne from M Motors about the basic things that we can do to ensure that our vehicles are working as they should. And welcome back to DBS This Morning. Now, you may be wondering, why the hell is Candy in the backseat of a car with a man? I'll tell you why I'm in the backseat of a BMW with a man. The man's name is Dwayne Augustine, and he is a vehicle sales specialist and just an all-round good guy when it comes to talking about cars and why and how we need to take care of them. So, Dwayne, thank you for agreeing to be here.
Thank you for having me, Candy.
Yeah, so, the issues I have with maintaining my vehicle. I always have questions that need answers about how to take care of my vehicle. And I know that I'm not alone. I know that a lot of people don't know some very basic things about how to maintain our vehicles so we ensure the best performance and the best longevity. So
Right.
I figured we'd talk about that today.
Of course, definitely.
So what is the most basic thing, like the elementary basic A1 thing we need to know about how to maintain our vehicles?
Okay. I'll start off by saying this, and I always tell a lot of my clients that you take care of your vehicle and your vehicle will take care of you. And one of the most basic things that you can do to ensure long life from your vehicle is to keep your oil changes, your fluid changes at the intervals that are set out by the manufacturers.
So every vehicle would have a different stipulation
yes,
for that?
different brands, different models will have different intervals during the year, or it's normally done time or mileage. So whichever comes first. So if you drive a lot, you will be expected to change your oil more often than someone who does not drive as much. So what you have is that if you purchase a vehicle new, the dealer will tell you when your service intervals are. That will include your oil changes and whatnot. Generally, for a lot of cars out there, you generally have to change your oil between 4,000 kilometers, 8,000 kilometers. Some cars you may have to do it quarterly, some have every 6 months, and some you have it annually. You also have some of the advantages of some of the brands, if I may say so, BMW, where the purchase of a new BMW, you don't have to worry about maintenance, because every BMW that's purchased new comes with 3 years service inclusive. Okay, so that includes everything: your fluid changes, your oil changes, your wiper changes, your brake changes, your brake rotor changes. All of that is done absolutely free.
Wow,
for
that's
3 years.
amazing. Okay.
So very important. Oil is like blood to your body. It runs through your veins. It is very important. So the fresher the oil in the car, the better it is for your engine. Okay.
That's a great analogy. Never thought of it that way. If you told me that a long time ago, I would have, done better. But we move.
That is very, very, very important. Also, you need to regularly check your coolant level. That's for keeping it goes into your radiator and it keeps your engine cool. Okay, you always need to check this. You also have your transmission fluid. Again, the blood that runs through your transmission, and again, that too is set out by the manufacturer at certain intervals in which to change. You do not change it as frequently as engine oil, but at some point it would need to be changed. You also have, depending on the type of vehicle, if you have a big SUV, a 4x4, you have what are called differentials. They have oils in it as well. These have to be changed. So as long as you have good, clean oil fluids in your vehicle, you are off to a great start.
Now, we're talking about some very deep technical things, well, at least to me,
For you.
that you would have to go into your dealership or your mechanic to do. But as, what are some of the everyday things? So, for instance, back in the day, you'd see people going outside to turn their vehicle on, to warm it up before, before they have to leave, a good few minutes, maybe even half an hour before they leave. Is that still something that you have to do, or with modern technology that's no longer necessary?
Well, that one is a bit tricky. I normally would at least start my car and let it idle for about a minute or two before I leave.
Okay.
And the reason is that when the car is off, it's parked, the oil drops. So you basically just started to get the oil pumping through the system, okay? And then you can move off. You don't necessarily need it to idle for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. That's not necessary. A minute or two just to get it to run through the system and you move. It's always safer to do it that way. Okay, so remember, oils lubricate. And an engine, you have metals running very close to each other. So you do not want to start off your car without sufficient lubrication. That can lead to mechanical problems. So it's always wise. So at least let it idle for a minute and a half, and then you can proceed.
Now, as a woman, sometimes it's very intimidating to have conversations about my vehicle because, and especially with me, I know what I know and I know it well because I study everything that I'm interested in to a T. But the things that I'm not really interested in, or the things I don't know. Or even when I know, I tend to defer to someone who may know more than I would or has had more experience than I've had. What advice would you have for women who are going into dealerships or going to the mechanic? Because I've heard horror stories about women being charged and overcharged for either things they don't need, or being overcharged, or being advised to do things that are not necessary. I've heard situations where people are being advised to buy a whole new system, so a whole new transmission, when they probably needed a part of it. Or I recently had an issue where I was being advised to buy a whole new, what's it called, compressor for my AC. You see, there you go. I don't know. And I only needed a part, and my AC works perfectly. It works better than it even did when I first got my vehicle. So what would you say to a woman if you had a daughter? What would you say to her?
What would I say to my daughter?
Yes.
I have to buy a BMW. Service free for 3 years from the factory. But I mean, seriously, always remember, all the information is out there. Read, and everything is on the internet. This is one of the first things I would encourage you. Not sure? Google it. You'll be surprised the responses you get. 2, your vehicle is a major investment. Be very selective as to who you choose to maintain that vehicle for you. If you've taken a loan and you've purchased a new vehicle from an authorized dealer, stick to your authorized dealer. Create a relationship with that dealer. They will not steer you wrong, and you always have recourse. You have warranties. Manufacturers give warranties on cars. Okay, basically because the cars are made by human beings like me and you. They're not saying that nothing will go wrong, but if something goes wrong because I manufactured a part incorrectly or part failed, I will take care of you, and the dealership will guide you. Okay, information is out there. You can go, you can read, you can Google. Everything is out there on the internet. You can get it. It may be intimidating for some people, but it's not that difficult. Okay, And we all have good friends, a big brother, a big uncle who should know. We could just ask a question. But believe it or not, especially in the case of buying a vehicle new, or a lot of vehicles are imported, 99% of the vehicles that are imported have some sort of dealer representation here. You can go into the dealership and ask a question. Go into the dealership and say, hey guys, sorry I could not have afforded yours. I bought this online. Do you mind performing an inspection, giving me a report, and would you be able to maintain it for me thereafter?
Oh wow, so you're not necessarily going to be shunned by a dealer if you import a vehicle that they
I can speak for BMW. Because we do have customers who've purchased vehicles online and straight from the port or the day after they've brought it into us.
Okay. That's
done an inspection, given them a full health care check on their car, and we've proceeded to maintain the car going forward.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Something you touched on earlier, which I just want to touch on a little bit, is the correlation between the cleanliness of your vehicle, how clean you keep your vehicle, and how your vehicle performs.
Okay.
So I feel like that warrants, especially for me. I absolutely detest going to sit at a car wash, so I probably don't get to clean my vehicle as often as I should. Confession is good for the soul. I was raised a good Catholic girl. So
but it does help, Candy. Both inside and outside. Your vehicle is exposed to the elements, dirt, mud. The buildup of these things on metal can cause rust. Okay, so keeping your vehicle externally clean, especially the underneath, the wheel wells, the suspension, can help prevent early rusting of your vehicle. Ever so often, it's always advisable to wash your engine area. Okay, the first signs of oil leaks would be sweating, because oil would normally leak from seals that are failing. Seals are little rubber components. And again, the car always tells a story. So before it gets critical, you'll see it begin to sweat. Now, if your engine is dirty, it'll be very difficult to pick up on these things, and then you'll just be left one day, your oil light may come on, and then you're left with a major oil leak. Even water leaks from your water pump, they would leave a residue that is easy to pick up once your engine is clean. Okay, so it's always advisable to always try to keep your vehicle as clean as possible to pick up on these little inconsistencies, if you want to call it that way. And also, it generally drives better when it's clean.
you think that's a real thing, or that's a mind thing?
Definitely.
So I have friends, like overseas, for instance, who would be going on a road trip and driving for long distances, and they ensure that they get their vehicles washed before they go on a long trip where it's going to get. I'm like, what is wrong with you? But they say the same thing. It drives better when it's clean.
I mean,
I think that's a mind. I think that's a mind.
There are times, because I'm busy. I've gone like a week or two, and I have not had the time to get the car clean, especially like in the rainy season. And the moment, either if I do it at home or the guys at work take the car to the wash bay and give it a good solid cleaning, jump in the car and drive, and the car just feels so much better. It drives better.
Okay, on that note, we're going to wrap up because I'm being called out really loudly right now. But this is DBS This Morning. Thank you, Dwayne, for joining us. Let's do this again sometime soon. We'll be right back.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's SocaCize session. Leading the wine is Sarah and myself, Shani. Let's get ready to flaunt with the SocaCize. This morning's workout is going to be a bacchanal warm-up. Let's get ready to sweat with SocaCize. All right, so arms up. We're starting. Flick. Next side. Hands on the head and roll. Now we're going faster. Click, click. Hands. Click and. Hands. We're going to the side. Drop. Hold it. Next side. Push the hips back. A little faster. Let's go. Take it up. Hands on the head. Roll it. Click and keep going. Let's go. 4, 2, hands. Drop it, forward, bend. Reverse the hands. Forward, back. 4 more. 3, 2. Last one. Take it up, flick, and keep going. Last set. Hands on the head, roll it. Drop and next side. Next side. Next side. Little faster. 4, 3, 2, take it up slow. Next side. Good. A little faster. Let's go. Boy. Yes. Roll it. Faster. And roll it. Click. Roll it. Forward. Reverse. And that was this morning's session. We hope you are feeling sexy, sultry, and strong. Have a wonderful day.
And this has been DBS This Morning, coming to you from the back of a BMW. Isn't that fun? Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Candy. I hope you have the best day ever. We'll see you next time. Bye.